Hello, in 2019 I wanted to make a longevity cake and I wanted to sell it everywhere in supermarkets. This was my little virus for longevity because it would be addictive and people would take it, it would spread. However, I didn't want to sell blah blah. I wanted to check if it was working. So I developed a kit to assess health, the TimeXtension basic kit. And today I have evolved. It's not a cake because it perishes fast. It's chocolates in which we put a lot of ingredients against aging. These chocolates, that are not really chocolate in fact, it's mostly anti-aging science. We call them longevity, and I'm going to use the same kit to measure before, after, because I don't want to do blah blah. So I would like you to test, and I will show how in the next videos, your biological age and see how it evolves on you with the chocolates. So the way to measure your biological age precisely and non-invasively, because in fact non-invasive measures are actually very precise, a lot more than most blood tests for biological age, is to combine 6 different tools. These 2 ones, you need to use them from time to time because it's not going to change over day. This is to measure your waist and hip ratio. You can measure more things for more precision, but this is the essence, waist and hip ratio. This is to measure your blood pressure. This is to measure your body composition. This is to measure if you can stand on one foot, maybe even the eyes closed. This is to measure if you can blow hard. This is to measure if you can press hard. And then you need to use a chair to do some tests like this, to know, a bit like squats, if your cardiovascular system is good. With this, you've got a pretty good measure. I have added more measures, but they don't add much because they are not precise. For example, brain aging is hard to measure, or immune aging is hard to measure. So with this, you are very precise for yourself. Okay, so let's start with basic circumferences. So you have certainly all heard about it, and it's true. The waist to hip circumference is a very useful marker. So how to measure your waist? Is anywhere between these bones on the sides and these costal bones, anywhere in the middle, that's the definition. And what you want to do is to know how to control your belly. How do you do so? You need to blow with thin lips. Okay, better use a thin t-shirt or no t-shirt. Now, how do you measure your hip? Your hip is the place where it's the widest. When your feet are not like this, otherwise it's at the bottom. So basically, for me, it's about here. It's typically 5 centimeters below the belt, but it really depends on your morphology. So we are not only measuring fat, we are measuring everything together. With this, you have a pretty good ratio. You can add more things, the circumference here, the circumference here at the bottom of the neck, and the circumference here. They add a bit of precision, but not much. So if you don't have much time, just do these 2 measures and you put them in my system, and then you will get already a first good estimation of your biological age. Number 2, tonometer. A very basic tool that you have all seen, all used at least a few times in your life. So you put it around your arm, very basic. You need to wait a few minutes. We don't have the time here to be at rest. And then you press simply and you wait. You know, the pump is going to press and it's going to release the pressure. It's going to estimate your, your pressure, blood pressure. You need to do it a few times because it's not super precise, and take the average of 3 measures typically, and then that's what you have. You want to be at 120, 70, something like that, ideally. If it's higher, be careful because as you age, it's going to go even higher. So number 3, body composition. This scale is a bit special. I have worked with the producers to make it quite precise. It does its job. It doesn't measure the air humidity or whatever. It's good to measure your body composition. You need to use it with an app. maybe the best is to use a known one, which is called Fit Days. So it's green of this color, if you can see. Fit Days, FITDAYS. And so you need to enter your age, your height, and then and your gender, and then you need to connect to the scale. So you need to do so with your phone, follow the instructions. And once it's done, when you press on your scale for a certain time, you can see that it's connected, it's measuring you. Okay, so I'm going to do it. So you need to remove your socks. You need to put your hands like this, your thumbs, because you need electricity to go through you in different ways. And then you stand like this. So you don't want to be too close to your legs. You don't want to be perpendicular. You want to be in between. And so you need to wait a bit that first the weight is stabilized, the measure of the weight, and then that the bars, the colored horizontal bars, don't move anymore. Okay. And when you do it, you have a result. And this result is going to show you a lot of things, your weight and everything. So you need to enter on the form. The URL will be below the videos. You need to enter in the form what is asked by the form, like how much fat you have, how much muscle you have, how much bone you have, how much water you have, and it will give you at the end an estimated biological age as well that you can put in. Number 4, balance. So you start with 1 foot and you see if you are able to stay on the foam for at least, let's say, 15 seconds. You count by yourself. In some cases, people don't have the same 2 feet, so then they may want to try the other one. Usually it's when you have an injury, but not always, so it's good to know. Let's assume it's the same to make it simple. So there are 2 possibilities. In one case you succeed, so wow, you are able to stay 15 seconds, and I don't want anyone to be at 100% on any measure because we want to see improvements. So then you go to the next step, you close your eyes like this, and this is much harder. So most of you will fall like this or like this, it doesn't matter, but you try to count how many seconds you can stay with your eyes closed. If you don't eat any sugar, if you are on a keto diet, very likely, and you are in good shape, you will be able to stay 15 seconds with your eyes closed. If you are more than 60, not very likely. Second case, you are not able to stay on 1 foot, so you didn't have to close your eyes. Instead, you have 2 feet, like this. And you try to stay 15 seconds, with the eyes closed. So the result is how many seconds you were able to stay with 2 feet. By default, we say it's at least 15 seconds. How many seconds you were able to stay on 1 foot. You need to check the 2 feet. And by default, we will say it's 15 seconds. And if you are in good shape, then the additional measure is how many seconds you can stay on 1 foot with the eyes closed. Thank you. So number 5, how fast you can blow. This is measured either with a spirometer or a peak flow. It's the same principle. You need to blow fast in a tube. So here it's with the spirometer. You have a button on the side. You press to turn it on, and then you need to blow and it will display a number. So you want to put your mouth around with no air in between, because otherwise when you blow it, the air will go out like this. Then, only then, you want to take air and then breathe very fast. So there's not much resistance. You just need to blow fast. It's a bit strange the first time, but that's what you need to do. And you do it 2-3 times and you take the average in order to have a good measure. You can also use a peak flow. It's about the same, it just has a shape like this. The difference is that the spirometer will display 2 numbers. It will also display the FEV. So if you put the 2 numbers in the system, it's a bit more precise, but it doesn't change much. So number 6, grip strength. I don't know if you have noticed, but we are gradually going towards using more energy. At the beginning, you are just standing up, and then gradually we are putting more energy in. So now you're going to give your maximum strength. You need to start it. It's the button start. Okay, you wait. And now you don't need to configure anything. You just want to see kilograms, right? If you don't have kilograms, you change to LB, but let's stay in kilograms. It's the left button. And now what you want to do is press hard on the right hand, on the left hand, on the right hand, on the left hand, on the right hand, on the left hand. So 6 times total. And each time between 2 trials, you press start to reset to 0. So let me try. 1, 2, 3, go. Ah! And here I need to press as hard as I can. And I stopped after, let's say, 5 or 10 seconds. So here I am at 60 kilos. So this is quite good, but it's a bit proportional to height, and higher for males, about the double. And so then I write down this number, I press start, and I go for my left hand. Like this. So here 62. I really try to put my maximum right now. You may not have seen it. And so it's normal to go a bit up and then down. If you are sportive, you will immediately give your maximum power. If you are not, it will take more time. And at the end, usually you are tired, so the last time is lower, and that's good signs. So that's it for number 6. So number 7, your cardiovascular system. And here, and that's the reason why we went in this order, you need to be a bit warm, as we have done a lot of things in between, because you are going to give your maximum strength for quite a long time. So we're going to use a chair. Any chair is okay. Ideally, it shouldn't be soft like this, but this one is, it's okay, it's almost hard. It should be against a wall because you don't want the chair to go back and you to fall on the floor. And you need to be able to measure your heart rate. So that's a bit of quite a lot of constraints. You need a chair against the wall, and you need to be able to measure your heart rate. Don't use a machine that averages heart rate, because we're going to see the dynamics. So you do need to put your finger here to try to find your heartbeat, or here, try to find your heartbeat. Take your time to try it. If you can't at the first time, do a bit of exercise and then try again, because your heart will start to beat stronger. Everyone can do it. I haven't found anyone who couldn't do it, but for some it's easier than for others. Okay, so let's say you can do it, for example, like this. And so first you need to make sure you're able to measure yourself. So you look at your watch, and during 15 seconds, you count your heartbeats. You don't count the watch, you count the heartbeats. Ding! I will do it fast. Ding! Let's imagine it was 15 seconds, and you know your heartbeats. You write down on paper. Okay, so this is the initial heartbeats. And notice it's not fully at rest, it's just when you are a bit warm, because we don't care about rest here. And now what we are going to do is to do some squats, but in a very controlled manner. It's called the sit to stand chair test. So you sit, not at the back of the chair, not too much at the front because you don't want to fall, but in between, okay? Feet perpendicular, and you start to put your hands like this on the chest. Why on the chest? So that your arms can't move much. Not like that, because it's not very practical, more on the chest. Okay, now you want to bend a bit to have your shoulders a bit above your knees, not necessarily above your knees, but to the front. And you want to remain like this all along. And you go up, you go down, and each time you want to go up again, first you move your feet off the floor. Not for a long time, like this. Okay, so the goal is to stand up as many times as possible during 45 seconds. You really want to stand up. You really want to sit, which you have to when you move up your feet. That's why we do it. Okay, so we are going to do this as many times as possible. So you need to count how many times you go up during 45 seconds. And then we will measure against the heart rate. Ready? I'm going to do it. Maybe I'm going to do it less because it's going to be too long for the video. Up, up. I've done 15 seconds, you're supposed to do 45, but that's the same. So you see I can do it myself. I just know in advance where with the needle I need to stop. And I have counted how many times I went up. Two things, where I need to stop and how many times I go up. Okay, I write this on paper if I want, or I keep it in my head if I'm good. And now I'm going to measure again my heartbeat. Ideally, I do it within 10 seconds after the effort, because the heart is at a sort of plateau for 10 seconds after the effort. So, beep, I wait 15 seconds, let's say it's done. Beep, I write down how many times my heart beat during 15 seconds. And now you can rest. Better. You really want to rest. Don't talk like me now, don't laugh. Wait for 1 minute after the end of the effort, and you measure again. You can wait for 1 minute or 1 minute 5 seconds, but not 1 minute 20 seconds. It will, otherwise you need, well, tell me and I will adjust the numbers. But by default, 1 minute after. And if you want to be extra precise, you remeasure again, not 1 minute after the effort, but 1 minute and 30 after the effort. Okay, so you have a basic heart rate, then a high heart rate, and hopefully it should go down, and then further down. The ones who are very athletic, after 1 minute, it's down almost like the beginning. And well, most of us will need to wait for 1 minute 30, but this is what you are measuring. Sorry, and this is more precise than VO2 max in terms of correlation with later mortality.